now, and there was this commercial on, and it was like, did you know there's a break in every 28 seconds in America? And I'm just thinking to myself, how fucked up are things out there right now if there is a break in every 28 seconds, literally, right? Because, most of it is probably people breaking in to buy drugs and shit, right? But you think about it, like 15 years ago, the CDC, the DEA, people could get their prescriptions, right? People in pain could get their morphine prescriptions, and people with anxiety could get their Xanax and their benzos. And nowadays, they don't give anybody anything, and everything is just fentanyl on the street. So now everyone's buying illegal fentanyl, and it's upping crime and it's fucking things up, right? That's one thing. Now, another thing is, it could be people who are desperate, right? People who are on the verge of losing their houses, or maybe they can't afford to feed their families or whatever, and they're doing it for that reason. Or maybe it could be revenge too. Don't get me wrong; it could be someone trying to get revenge or whatever. But my point is, if there's a break in every 28 seconds in a country with 300 million people or so, then that's fucked, dude. That's completely fucked up, man. That means the country is not being run properly, okay? Because I guarantee you that back in the year like 1960, when things were actually good, there was not a break in every 20. A doctor in a normal way, or like an anxiety patient could get like their Xanax or their Klonopin or their Ativan or whatever the fuck it was. Or sometimes even the people could get both, they could get like their morphine prescription, and then they could get like their Ativan prescription with that if they needed both, and nowadays they just don't give people anything at all. So now everyone's doing fucking fentanyl and street drugs with fentanyl in them, that they say, oh, this is or like, how they say like, oh, this is Xanax or whatever, and they drug test you and they say, nope, it was just fentanyl in there. It was just pure fentanyl, bro. And that's how all these street drugs are now. The people who are going out on the street trying to buy the drugs that the doctors won't prescribe them are all turning out to be fentanyl anyway, And it's no wonder there's a break in every 28 seconds, It's no fucking wonder there's a break in every 28 seconds. It makes me mad, because these boomer ass fucks don't know how to run our country. And it's just that simple. They don't. Okay, it's time for young people who have been through this shit, who have been through the opioid crisis. When I was like in college is when the opioid crisis was going on, when like the OxyContin crisis really started taking off, and I got caught up in it, and I got caught up in 12 years of drug addiction because of it, that I had to get out of myself, and I had to get off like 10 different drugs. Swear to God, I was in withdrawal for like a year, bro. Okay, and but yeah, so now everything has fentanyl in it. You can't get anything from a doctor anymore. And that's why there's a break in every 28 seconds in this fucking country, Like I said, it could be revenge. It could. There's three reasons I can think of. Desperate people who need money to pay their bills or to buy food, drug related, or revenge. Those are the three reasons I can think of. But back in the like in 1950s, 1960s, there was not a break in every 28 seconds. Don't give me that crap. Because the country was actually run right back then. The country was run well, and it was run by competent people who knew what they were doing. You have these people who've been in Congress for like, 50 years now, and they're never going to retire, and they're never going to pass the torch on, and we wonder why the country is falling apart, We wonder why the country is falling apart and why everything's a mess and why everything is the way it is. It's because these I can't even say it on here or I'll get like flagged, I was gonna say something along the lines of old boomer retards, but I probably shouldn't even say that either. But hey, how you doing? But you know what? It's true. Like the boomers, they just got to stop running the country. They got to pass the torch on to the millennials, skip the Gen Xers because they don't know what the fuck they're doing either. Because the Gen Xers, in my opinion, are a lot like the boomers. Do not like the Gen Xers either. Just go straight to the millennials. Vance is the first millennial. And personally, I think he's pure evil. I think because he was, I had heard that he had said like some really bad things about Trump during his first presidency, and then they asked him about it, and he's like, well, people can change their mind, can't they? Dude, he's just in it for the power, man. He just wants to be vice president because he knows Trump's old, and then he can seize power as soon as Trump, if like Trump gets too old or whatever to take up the position, then, Vance is next in line, right? And that's why he's vice president. It has nothing to do with, his, I feel so bad about making those remarks about Trump back in his first term as presidency, So it's like, Hold on, I'm getting a brain fart here because I'm running out of things to say. When I talk really fast, I run out of things to say. So I'm trying to think of where I was and re-center myself again. Okay, I got it. So yeah, but everything, it's like the boomers got to go. The boomers got to go. The Gen Xers got to get skipped and just put all the millennials in charge. Millennials and the Gen Zers, the people who have really suffered out there, the people who really know what true pain and suffering is, okay? I have been through 12 years of drug addiction. I have nearly died over a dozen times. I have had multiple near-death. Need to be running the country. It's as simple as that. So I'll leave it at that for today. It's around been talking around 6 minutes now or so. I think that's good for right now. I got my rant out. I just want to get this rant out because it just bothers me. That they say, oh, every 28 seconds there's a break-in America. Well, no shit. If the country was still being run like it was back in 1960 or 1950 when things were actually going good and people who were running the country who knew what they were doing, it would not be this bad and this shit wouldn't be happening. So with that, you guys have a great day and I'll see you later. All right. Bye.